¿Qué lo que, mis compañeros? Today, late night recording, UFC Noche recap. Was a decently exciting card despite having a lot of shit names. There was like 2 fights that almost put me to sleep. We'll get into that. Sorry for this video coming out kind of late. I've been extremely busy with school and stuff. But you know, we're going to get better with the uploads because I'm kind of a little bit less busy this week. Let's see. What else do I want to say? Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get into this. All right. So we start out with the, what is this, a tough welterweight final between Rodrigo Sezinando and Daniil Donchenko. Not much to say about this fight. It was an early round one, or I guess late round one finish for Daniil Donchenko. I thought he was going to get, I think I had him as round 2 knockout, and then he ended up knocking him out in 1. So that was cool. His head movement sucks. That's why he's kind of Ukrainian Yuri. Guys were literally just throwing in this fight. There were a couple nice, I think there was a nice shoot by Sezinando at one point. But then he just was getting elbowed. Daniil Donchenko was just spamming elbows, and it opened Sezinando bad. He was bleeding so much. It was comical amount of blood he had. There was also a knee to the balls. I think it was Donchenko landed on Sezinando or one or the other. And then DC was saying it was maybe to the body. I fucking forget, honestly. It's kind of the problem when you do the recap days later instead of the day or the day after. And then, whatever. Right hand drops him. And really the deciding factor in this was just Daniil Donchenko. Relentless pressure the whole fight. And he was just throwing punches, knocks him down, finish him. It was as simple as that. Good win for him. I'm kind of excited to see what he does. I mean, his head movement sucks, so he'll probably get put out by somebody. But he is exciting, to say the least. On to the next one. This was kind of the fight that almost put me to sleep. What a boring fight. Montse Rendon versus Alex Pereira. To start out, Alex Pereira's walking out, and Dominic Cruz is saying this is Alex Pereira's sister or related to her. He's as sharp as a bowling ball, that Dominic Cruz. And then DC or John Gooden or whoever it was said they're actually not related, and then he apologized. This fight was extremely boring. I feel like when you look at Alice Pereira, you're like, oh, she should be good at fighting. She's kind of long. She looks athletic. In the ring, I was like, oh, when I first saw her, I was like, damn, I should have picked her. But she didn't let her hands go. I honestly really don't think she moved that fast. It'd be like Montse Rendon. She was just plodding forward the entire fight. And Alex Pereira was just running around. Rendon couldn't cut off literally any angle, so it was literally just running back and forth the whole fight. It was honestly extremely boring. But then, the interesting was Rendon finally realized, oh, let me use some dirty boxing, kind of, you know, mess the fight up a little bit, make it a little dirty. And then she actually, like, knocked down Alex Pereira, I think, in the second round. She had a rear naked choke in, I think, and threatened to finish. It was close at the end of the round. And then she also knocked Alex Pereira's mouth guard out. I think it was round 3. But then round 3, I thought Alex Pereira, she at least looked a little bit better. I mean, she's only, 19, 18 years old, so it's kind of hard to, judge her that much. Who knows? I mean, this was such a boring fight, though. I really have nothing to say. Rendon moves around so fucking slow. She sucks. Alex Pereira, she's a fucking kid. You know what I mean? So, what are you going to do? Anyway, that fight, moving on. This is where my first loss. Nope, let's not pull up Alden Coria's whole fight bio. Fun flyweight fight. Went not really how I expected. Alden Coria, I remember I had said from what I had seen, his boxing and his wrestling were good, and his striking in this fight was good also. But I thought this was just gonna be a tough debut for him. I believe this was short notice, and he honestly did a really good job. I mean, Alessandro Costa, I think I had noted that he was a midget. He looked even smaller when I saw him again in the ring. I know that's kind of dumb to say because it's not like he's growing or shrinking based on looking at past fights, but sometimes when you watch it live again, you're like, this guy is so fucking small. There were nice calf kicks early for Alessandro Costa, which I said he was going to do early. Coria also had landed a nice 1-2. I remember in the beginning that kind of at least made me notice that he did some damage to Costa and at least raised my eyebrows. I was like, oh, this Alden Coria, he can throw. There was also a nice overhand by Costa in the first round, but Costa just needed to let his hands go. I felt like when he was applying the pressure, he looked good against Alden Coria, and he just wasn't really doing it enough. Calf kicks was kind of the story early in the first round. I thought there was a lot of nice calf kicks from both guys being landed. Other than that, I remember round 2 Alden Coria, he got him to the ground. He was landing nice elbows. And I remember Costa did a nice job where he like reversed and got back up. And then he had a beautiful takedown. I'm trying to remember how he did it. He like tripped one leg, or what was it? Took his back, was trying to get the hooks in. But then Coria got control and landed again. I kind of figured Alden Coria was up 10, like was up in the 2-0 or 1-1. I kind of had a slight edge to him at this point. But there was some, he hurt, I think it was his pinky toe at the end of that second round when he was on the ground. And it was bleeding bad, and you could tell he really couldn't put a lot of weight on it. And you know, Alden Coria's banging him up against the fence. And he shot Alessandro Costa. He shoots like a takedown out of desperation. And then he just gets punched fucking awful. I think it was a right hand. Then he finishes him. Foot was cooked. I was impressed by Alden Coria, though. I thought he looked at least solid. I really didn't know what to expect. I thought this was just going to be a bad fight for him. Credit to him. That was a good win for him. On to the next fight. Oh, what a fuck. Ugh. This should have been a win. Zachary Reese was going to win this. This was fucking soft. Sedriques the felon, Dumas, gets fucking kicked in the balls. Now, originally, I was like, he didn't get kicked that hard. It looked like he got kicked that hard. But you never know with these ball shots. You know what I mean? These shots, the fucking groin. Some dude just shake them off. Other people don't. Maybe Sedriques Dumas has got a cyst in his testicles. I have no clue. He better, honestly. I want to see... You know, he was on the ground for so long bitching. Who was it, the Mike Beltran, that he couldn't fucking get up? If you're going to bitch that much, I want to see testicle removed immediately after the fight. And I don't think that happened. So in all seriousness, that's pathetic. Sedriques Dumas, you have no money. You are a pathetic fighter. I don't ever want to see you in the octagon again. But realistically, this fight should just be run back. And Zachary Reese will win by knockout. Yeah, not much to say over there. I hope Sedriques Dumas nuts feel better. Anyway, on to the next one. This was a good fight. Good flyweight scrap between Jesus Aguilar and Luis Gurule. I said stick with Jesus through everything, and I was right. I really liked Jesus Aguilar. I thought that sometimes he was a little too loose in this fight. You know what I mean? He landed more strikes. There were really not much takedowns. Jesus Aguilar did a good job stuffing takedowns. But Aguilar, in the beginning of the fight, remember, he came out fucking swinging. He was beating that left calf up with Luis Gurule with calf kicks. He also had a nice takedown. I think that was the only one landed was in that first round. He also had some nice knees in the clinch early on, and I thought he really put a lot of energy into that first round and completely kind of backed off in that second, where Gurule was kind of taking control, landing more strikes in that second round. And Jesus Aguilar looked a little bit gassed and, in a way, kind of saving his energy maybe for that for that third round. Because in that third round, again, he comes out firing. He had like a nice spinning back kick that rocked him. He jumped into a guillotine, and then he fucked it up. I kind of forget. Gurule got on top. Aguilar continued to defend those takedowns. I think Gurule, actually, I don't think it's right here. He was 0-for-5 on takedowns. There was a great third round. Jesus Aguilar, I think that knockdown that he had, that kind of was the difference in this fight. Even though it says there were no knockdowns. I could have sworn he did actually knock him down. And then he won. Somebody said this was 30-27. I thought this was pretty clear 29-28. It was pretty close throughout. But Jesus Aguilar, I still feel like he clearly edged him. Clearly edged him out. Excuse me. Whoa. All right. Whatever. On the next fight. Another fucking boring fight between lesbian Justin Bieber and Tatiana Suarez. It's just so boring. Tatiana Suarez was just more physical. It just was kind of weird that this was 2 versus 4 and this low on the card. Now, listen, it was so boring that it's like, whatever, who cares? The funny thing was how many takedowns Tatiana Suarez attempted and just didn't land. At like 3 of 12, she sucked. I wasn't really impressed by anything. I thought the one thing I will say about Amanda Lemos, I thought her defense was overall solid in this point. And then she got kneed in the fucking vagina. So that was something. It was overall boring. I think Tatiana Suarez had a nice slam in this fight. She dumped fucking Amanda Lemos on her back. And then Amanda Lemos at the end of round 3, which was kind of funny. She did, if you had money in Amanda Lemos, came out swinging at the end of that third round, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, sometimes I wish these women's MMA fighters just fucking let their hands go, because sometimes, and this might come across as sexist, but sometimes some of these women, they just don't know what to do. I think because there's some of them are used to kind of this grappling game where it's a little bit more like shooting takedowns, and sometimes it's just being more physical, like the stronger woman wins. So sometimes I would just let your hands go. You could just catch, like Tatiana Suarez was moving back and looked a little worried there. But good win for Tatiana Suarez. She'll finally face the winner of Dern versus however you pronounce that other chick's name that she's fighting with a J. Anyway, we're on to Peruvian Ryan Hall versus Joaquim Silva. Thank God, fuck this BJJ guy, Claudio Puelles. Even though I thought he looked better on the feet than he has in his past. Like, he wasn't doing a Ryan Hall impression in this fight. I honestly thought it was pretty boring. That first round, Puelles had like a nice takedown where he lifted his leg and lifted Joaquim Silva's leg and flipped him. He had a lot of control with time. It was pretty boring. And I just typed in my notes, Silva, please just box Claudio Puelles' head off. And Silva did hurt him with a deep to the body, which was Dan Hooker-esque. I think that happened in that fight against Claudio Puelles. Silva rocked him. I think this happened in the third round. And I pretty much just said he should just win this based on that exchange because of how boring it was. I would have liked if he just mixed his striking up and let his hands go more in that match. Probably could have been the deciding factor, and then he won by split decision. So, again, extremely boring fight. Who cares about Claudio Puelles? Good win for Joaquim Silva. Once he let his hands go, he realized, shit, I can win this. All right, on to the next fight. This is the fight you've all been waiting for. Me to talk about my guy, Jose Daniil Medina versus Duško Todorović. A fight that was probably the fight I talked about the most on the prelims. Extremely low quality MMA. Jose Medina, what are you doing? Go get a job. I wish I could say get ready to learn Chinese. I don't even know what you fucking need to learn. I don't know what your future is because you can't really do anything. I enjoyed this fight simply because I got to see Jose Medina just get finished again and eat a bunch of shots. There was a point in the beginning of the fight where DC was just stunned that Jose Medina lost the contender series and got a contract. Like, he was dumbfounded that this had occurred. And the announcers just kept going like, wow, like, Jose Medina, this guy's tough, man. He's tough. And I was like, yeah, that's all they can ever say about him. He's tough. He fucking throws on a smile and he's from Bolivia because that's cool, I guess. Jose Medina was bleeding within the first fucking 2 minutes of the fight. You're like, what even happened? He got punched and that was it. He's just so fat and slow, Jose Medina. Duško Todorović like rocked him, and then he gets a choke in. And as soon as he got the choke in, you just see Jose Medina's fat face. He's ready to tap, and it was just a mess. I think Duško got a rear naked and won this. This is a comp for Jose Medina, and not too many people are going to understand this. At the Blink Fitness, there's 1,000 Jose Medinas in the Blink Fitness in Lindenhurst on Long Island. All just fat Latino dudes who are punching the bag, sweating like a comical amount, but you have a lot of respect for him because you're like, look, he's out here fucking shedding calories, shedding fat. You're like, he's a warrior. Maybe one day he'll look good. Jose Medina, though, he'll never look good. He'll just always be fat. But I'll give him credit for going out there and hitting the bags, quote unquote. Going out there and giving the old college try. Good for him. I'm done with seeing you fight. And Jose Medina made Duško Todorović look good, and that's hard to do because Duško is not good. But credit to him, you got to finish. Now we're on to fucking finally the main card, where the main card was significantly more exciting than the this fight. Why does it say this was on the prelims? This was on the main card. All right, fuck it. We'll do this one first. We'll do Alexander Herrera's Diego Ferreira. Diego Ferreira, we looked sharp in the beginning, really, for the first round and a half. Was keeping constant pressure on Alexander Hernandez. I had a 10-9 Ferreira in that first. Then really not much was landing in that first. Ferreira was kind of landing nice kicks, and that was really it. There wasn't much to say. He was constantly just applying pressure. That's kind of the overarching theme of that first round. And the second round, again, he's still applying pressure. He's hitting body shots at Alexander Hernandez. You're like, fuck, he just get another 10-9 here, and then just, find your way to decision. And then, next thing I know, I look up from this, like I was also watching the Mets game on my computer. I look up and Hernandez just catches fucking Diego Ferreira with a right, and then he's fucking dead. And then the ref just let Diego Ferreira take maybe 8 extra shots than he needed to, and he just died. I was so upset. He had a massive hematoma on the side of his head. Look at that. That's where you see, that's the cage doctor. Look at that. Hematoma. That's a word. Look it up. Late stoppage by the ref. And then Alexander Hernandez calls out Diego Ferreira. I saw some people say, what's it called? Maybe Alexander Hernandez could fight Mauricio Huffy, which kind of interests me to a degree. But then I also was thinking maybe Rafa Garcia should fight Mauricio Huffy. There's a lot of interesting shit that goes on. I don't think Alexander Hernandez is getting that Michael Chandler fight. Michael Chandler's got to fight somebody like fucking Moicano or somebody. Like around that rankings. Like he's not going to fight he's not going to fight a Gamrot. He's not going to fight a Hooker. I don't really know. I could just see Moicano, Chandler, and then maybe Hernandez, Huffy. Or maybe like Rafa Garcia. Somebody like that. You know what I mean? Around the rankings. Sad for Diego Ferreira. He's a legit guy. Fuck Alexander Hernandez. Good. I'll give him this, though. 2 quality wins back-to-back. I've never been like the biggest Chase Hooper guy. But good win for him there. And then, you know, he beats a legit guy in Diego Ferreira, albeit old as shit. Now we're on to apparently the main card here, but that was on the main card. This was really the first fight on the main card. Santiago Luna versus Quang Le. Quang Le, I remember he just came out fucking swinging in this, and he knocked him down early. And I was like, oh no, a Mexican's gonna lose here. And then he didn't. He didn't. Fucking, there was a nice head kick. I think that was what dropped Luna. But then Luna got back up, landed a left hook on Luna, or a nasty left hook from Luna that hit Quang Le, and fucking dropped him and finished him. And I just should have picked him, because I don't know why I picked a fucking Vietnamese guy. That's on me. All the Mexicans, I think, won on this card, too. So, bad luck for me. I'm never disrespecting my Mexican hombres ever again. Yeah, not really much to say. It was literally over within 3 minutes. So, now we're on to fucking Gastelum versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Good win for my fucking fat midget Kelvin Gastelum, who needs to lay off the fucking tacos, as I said before. This was actually an exciting fight. I just considered it a bar fight because there wasn't really anything extremely technical in this fight. As you could see, 1 for 6 on takedowns by Dustin Stoltzfus. There was good stuffing by Gastelum in this. He would love stuffing. I thought Stoltzfus did a good job landing calf kicks. There were just good exchanges. Then Dustin Stoltzfus' nose just randomly starts bleeding in that first round. I was like, where did he get that from? Was it on the takedown? Did he just butt heads or something? Gastelum hurt him early in that second round. He pieced them, kept landing overhands. Then he dropped him and shot a guillotine, didn't have it. And then, what did Stoltzfus end up top? I wrote in here Gastelum's a beast, because that's what I think. Because then he ended up top, and then he figured out a fucking way to get up, which was kind of funny. It was like that Derek Lewis fucking bro jiu-jitsu or whatever it's called, where he just stands up. Stand-up jiu-jitsu. He's on his back, just stands up. I just wrote down Gastelum's beast, 3-round bar fight. Thank you, Kelvin. Kelvin's still fat. I mean, it wasn't like an impressive fight for him, because, you know, you went to decision with Dustin Stoltzfus. But, like, whatever. I guess it's, you know, his hand speed was good, and that was the difference in this fight. So, good for him. He got a win. He might not be getting cut. That's really all I have to say about this. Now we're on the Rafa Garcia versus Jared Gordon. This was sad as a Jared Gordon guy to watch this happen, especially because after the fight fucking ends, it comes out that Jared Gordon was hit by a car the day before. Like, Bilal tweeted out Jared Gordon was hit by a car, and then an official statement comes up for Jared Gordon. I was like, what the fuck? Credit to him for not pulling out. But as soon as I saw that knee brace on his, whatever, left or right knee, you knew it was going to be fucking trouble for my guy. This was a fun fight, though. They were both landing really nice shots. He got knocked down in that first round, I think. And there was zero head movement this entire fight. There was like a time where Rafa Garcia, he got a guillotine on Jared, and he somehow got out. There was some beautiful time-trained shots in the pocket. But then the difference was really Rafa Garcia landed these elbows that just fucking sliced Jared Gordon open. There was also that really nice takedown at the very end of the second that Rafa Garcia shot on Jared Gordon. That was just beautiful. And And the third round kind of just came into who was fast. You could tell Jared Gordon was just kind of, he was withering away a little bit. And he just looked significantly slower. Neither of these dudes could move their head off the center line at all. They both have zero fucking head movement. But, fuck. It was a war. That being said, was this where, was this fucking where, no, never mind. This wasn't that fucking fight. He gets finished. It was whatever. It was sad. I like Jared Gordon. Anyway, on to fucking Rob Font versus David Martinez. Good win for David Martinez. Rob Font looked good, I honestly thought. He was putting a lot of pressure on him. I was like, yeah, maybe he'll find a way to a fucking decision in this fight. And I would have been happy that way because I like Rob Font. He's a good guy. He's a good guy, Rob Font. Yeah, good pressure from Rob Font really throughout the fight. But at the end of the day, it kind of just came down. David Martinez, his hands were fucking faster. He's the younger guy. Rob Font was landing combos. He pieced them up a couple times, but I thought Martinez still kind of edged him out in that first. And then Font probably took the second. Martinez, I'll give him credit. His cardio held up in this fight, and he was decent enough in the grappling exchanges. But sad that Rob Font lost to David Martinez. Really, the third was kind of the deciding factor of this fight. And Rob Font fucking gets knocked down at the end of the third, and fucking Big Dan Murgliata lets Rob Font take like a bunch of extra shots after the bell fucking run, which you rarely see happen. It rang fucking twice because the crowd was so loud. It was ridiculous. I saw somebody say David Martinez should take on Henry Cejudo. And I kind of think Marcus McGee would make more sense than Henry Cejudo. I think Martinez versus McGee is kind of closer in skill level right now. Even though Cejudo's old as shit, so I guess, that wouldn't be the worst, because it's not like you're feeding Cejudo to this insane prospect, but also David Martinez could win that fight still, so either one works. Let's just get on to the fucking main event, because this is really the most I have to say, or the most I can say, at least in heavy detail. And I will go into heavy detail. Listen, when Diego Lopes came out, it was a ton of aura. Lachona's playing. The crowd's going fucking crazy. John Silva, he gets fucking booed. John Silva's doing the stupid glove touch thing where he's trying to touch glove. They actually did touch gloves. Diego Lopes had that great takedown in the round, which it was kind of like a takedown. I don't really know how to describe it. But I was really impressed with the grappling exchanges from him. Not that his grappling has ever been bad, but I did want to see it against John Silva. He showed it. He fucking got on full mount, was banging 12-6 elbows on the top of John Silva's head. And he was brutalizing him. The ref was getting fucking close to calling that shit in that first round. Silva somehow break free. And he did have some nice front kicks to the face of Diego Lopes that definitely, they at least made Diego Lopes fucking, or worry. But I thought Silva was good at range. He had some nice jobs in the pocket with some elbows and some fucking shots. He definitely stunned Diego Lopes. I know it's hard at times to see really if Diego Lopes has actually been stunned because the guy is fucking a iron chin. But he definitely hurt him. I know people want to come out here and say Diego Lopes he bitched John Silva. He did, but John Silva landed shots I think got extremely cocky. He was looking for the kill in the second round. And another thing that pisses me off so much about John Silva is he does this dumb smiling shit where he's kind of emoting in front of you. But it's what are you smiling for? You're getting your fucking face punched in. Silva just, again, as I said, he was landing a nice overhand right. He also had some nice elbows. And Silva was slowing down. But Lopes, because those grappling exchanges, I honestly think, that fucking time where he was on the ground getting brutalized by elbows, that fucking tired him out. Because Diego Lopes just keeps walking him down, applying the fucking pressure, spinning elbow as John Silva's pushing forward, drops him, fucking unloads on the ground, finishes him. Some people said early stoppage. Wasn't really that fucking early. John Silva, the fight was over. Diego Lopes fucking killed him. Really, what I could say about this fight with Diego Lopes is his defense I still think sucks. Or it's not great. He doesn't move his head. He keeps his head right in the fucking center. And once that chin goes, it's going to be gross. And I'm going to cry. It's not there yet, and he's got time. I mean, you never know, because all it takes is one knockout. Or, one bad knockout, and it's over. But now, obviously, I love Diego Lopes. It's not gonna fucking happen yet because he's gonna be the next champ after Volk leaves. Again, that takedown and the landing of the spinning elbow was just super impressive. I just love Diego Lopes so much. I'm so happy he won. He was fucking flipping off the whatever Fighting Nerds teammates were there. It was so cool to see him when he's so humble. And I liked what he said in the post-fight interview where he's like, you know, if they want to give me the title shot, I'm more than happy. But if I got to fight somebody else, you know, it is what it is. If Movsar or fucking Yair, whoever it is, I think is good for him. I don't want to see fucking Yair because I don't want to live in a world where if Yair beats Diego Lopes, he's getting a title shot after this Lerone Murphy Volk fight. I wanted to see Movsar versus Diego Lopes, the rematch, because Diego took that on short notice for his first UFC fight. Winner of that fights Volk after Lerone. Or I guess if Lerone beats Volk, then he could, you know, they'll fight Lerone. You know what I mean? Which isn't going to happen. Volk's winning. That's it done. Diego versus Movsar, as I said, for the title shot. No Yair. And I don't want to see Aljamain Sterling. And I love Aljo. I love him. But he shouldn't even be in the fucking conversation for a fucking title shot. Like, give me a break. What has he done in featherweight? He beat Wash Brian Ortega. Like, that's not enough to get you a fucking shot at the belt. Give me a break. Or even a spotted title fucking eliminator. Fight Yair, I guess, then, Aljo. Overall, good card. Really didn't have a ton of big names. The main event absolutely fucking delivered. It was short. I said Diego Lopes by round 3 TKO. It was round 2. I can't believe how crazy the odds were. It was like plus 600 for him to knock somebody out. I should have fucking bet on that. But overall, I did okay on this card. I think I got an 8 out of 14 on picks. The prelims kind of fucked me. Reese kicking Dumas in the balls kind of fucked me over. We don't have a card this week. The next one is fucking, in Perth, where some of my guys are fighting on that card. We got Reyes versus Olberg. Fucking let's go Dom. And then Jake Matthews is fighting fucking Neil Magny on that card too. So it should be exciting. I'm excited for that one. I kind of want to do another video this week, but I don't know what it's going to be yet. Maybe I'll do like some of the later fights that have been announced. I could do like early predictions or early thoughts if you guys want to see that. But I'm going to post more on TikTok, so maybe I'll do stuff. Or maybe I'll just post more on there. Either way, I'm going to try and get more content out for you. So good card, good UFC Noche. Can't really complain. Crowd was great. Fucking let's go Diego Lopes. And we're coming for the belt after we beat Movsar. And I love you, Volk, but we're coming for the belt. That's it done.